Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podcast of Purpose. My name is Tyler Smith, here as always to magnify the Lord and to edify His body. And this is the part where I usually say by encouraging you to think, but today is going to be a little bit different. I think I might encourage you to think a little bit, but we're going to do something very different today. Before we get into this, I do want to encourage you to check out the video version of this podcast if you can, as opposed to just the audio, as I'm going to be sharing some things that you'll benefit from being able to see. I'm going to try to share some graphics and some slides. But, if you can just check out the audio, you can still get the information. But just wanted to mention that to you if at all possible. And I have been sharing these in video form as well as the audio form. I seem to be getting a little more feedback and a little more interaction with folks. So that might be what we do going forward, is to continue to do the video version as well as the audio, like we originally did. So like we said, this podcast is going to be a little bit different. I want to share with you today the Handfuls of Purpose story. My story in this, the ministry's story. Excuse me. And why do I want to do that now? Why take the time to do that at this juncture? Well, because Handfuls of Purpose, as we know it now, just turned 1 year old.
Happy birthday!
Was that Frosty the Snowman? Anyway, yeah, on August the 21st of last year, of 2019, is when I officially launched the Handfuls of Purpose website. And so 3 days ago, as this is released, was the Handfuls of Purpose first birthday.
Happy birthday!
I'm pretty sure that was Frosty the Snowman. That's weird. Anyway, so before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and like I've already said, this is going to be different. Not going to be a lot of teaching, although I do want to get into it a little bit. But I want to go ahead and say that I'm going to be sharing some numbers later, some analytics, and some people would probably say even the whole thought of me doing this podcast about the story is like bragging or something like that. And it's honestly and sincerely not. I may do a little bragging, but not on myself. And this is going to sound, first off, all glory and all honor goes to God. And I will brag on Him for what He's done. And as cheesy and as cliche as this is going to sound, it's going to sound cheesy and cliche. And I realize that, but it's also true, is I want to brag on you guys. I want to brag on every one of you that has supported in any way whatsoever, just by clicking on a video or clicking on a link or listening to a message or sending me ideas or, oh my gosh, it just, the participation that I've got and the help and support has been unreal. And we'll get into that here in a little bit, but I want to brag on you guys and thank you guys. And I want to share, and I feel like I owe it to you, and this is kind of what this episode is about. I feel like I owe it to you because so many of you have bought in, so to speak. And I don't mean, while you have helped financially, I don't mean that. But you're in here with me, and we're doing this, I feel like, together. And I feel like this is a community effort, which is what I always had envisioned anyway, for Handfuls of Purpose. So I feel like I owe it to you, though, because you guys do support me so much and you do help. I want to show you my heart in this and where I'm coming from and what my motivations are, and also some things going forward. So I ask that you'll stick with me on this episode. There might be some parts that is not quite interesting or whatever, and I'll try not to just blabber on and on. But I do want to share some of my future plans and ideas that I have for the website. And I got a few announcements, or really just one. I was hoping to have two announcements, but really just one announcement I want to make at the end that I think is exciting for me, and I think it'll be to you. So stick with me on this journey. And so let's get into the story. Let's get into the Handfuls of Purpose story here. I felt for a long time kind of a pull to doing some kind of online ministry. And so I do want to talk about this issue before we get into the rest of the stuff. I guess I've been surrounded by, and I don't know, depending on who all watches this, I know some will be familiar with what I'm about to talk about, and some maybe won't understand it. But I've been surrounded by people that there's a lot of negativity surrounding anything to do with the internet. Kind of a mindset of it's evil, and Facebook is evil, and the internet's evil, and it's wrong, and we should stay away from it. And so, and I'm not bitter or don't even have any hard feelings towards people that feel that way. I respect people and appreciate people that are kind of the watchdogs of the church. And though I feel like their beliefs towards some things are misguided, I think their heart's probably in the right place in protecting the church and all like that. So, but that kind of held me back for a long time because, frankly, I was scared to step out and be bold enough to do something different. And while some of you watching this may say, well, online ministry's been around forever, you're not exactly breaking the glass ceiling here. I realize I'm not. But among, I guess among my circle and my area, and I apologize for my dog, but she's made many audible appearances throughout the podcast. So, but this is kind of a new thing, I guess, among kind of where I come from, if that makes sense to you, which is another one of my motivations, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But there's a very well-respected preacher. I very much respect him, and he's very well-respected in, I guess, the church or Christian community that I'm in, named Joey Phillips. And he started to do a video devotional every day on Facebook. And he's really the first one, again, of our group. And I don't mean to sound cliquey or anything like that. I just mean the people that I'm usually associated with. I mean, we all have a community. And so he was really the first one to really step out and do something different like that. And again, he was a very respected man. And honestly, that gave me the boldness that I needed. I wish I could say I was bold enough to do it on my own without something like that, but I wasn't. And that's just the truth of the matter. So I truly appreciate him kind of breaking that ground. And he still does, not every day, but he still does things. And I just appreciate him and doing that. And so that gave me the boldness. And so I started in 2017. It was the first, because, I told you Handfuls of Purpose just had its first birthday.
Happy birthday!
Here he is again. But just celebrated its first anniversary. Maybe I can say that without him interrupting. But in 2000, that is in its current form, and that's kind of what I noted on the introduction. So there was kind of a earlier version of Handfuls of Purpose, which was YouTube only, and I also posted the videos on Facebook, and it was videos only, just of me doing short, like 5 to 7 minute teachings or something like that. And so those are still available on YouTube and through the website. But that's how I started with Handfuls of Purpose 2017. And I did that for like 3 months, a video every couple of weeks. And I just kind of, I don't know if I lost my vision or I kind of got off track. I kind of let it turn into more of a job than something I enjoyed or wanted to do. And so I stopped doing those. And for a couple of years, I didn't do anything online oriented. And I hope this isn't boring you guys. I just want to share my story and my heart towards this. So about 2 years later, which would have been last year, 2019, I began to feel the draw again to online ministry. But in a different format. Again, before it was just me sitting down in front of a camera and teaching for like 5 to 7 minutes, doing that every few weeks. That was all. That was the extent of it. But I definitely had a different idea come to me, and that is what is Handfuls of Purpose now. And so, and a lot of my motivations for that, I have a lot of motivations. Number one is to get the gospel out, right? To get the word of God spread. I realized, so like I said, I realized online ministry and things like this are not brand new. But I like to listen to preaching and stuff like that while I'm cutting the grass, going down the road. I enjoy listening to preaching. Well, I had a hard time getting my hands on content through the internet. Now, you can find a lot of preachers on the internet, a lot of preaching on the internet. But frankly, it wasn't preaching that the kind of preaching I was looking for. I'm not saying it was all bad by any means, but I found a hard time finding some good preaching that I wanted to listen to. And there were some out there. Over the years, though, I began to amass kind of a collection of preaching on CD and in digital form, and kind of had my own collection. So I would listen to that while cutting grass or things like that, or going down the road. For a while, I worked for Cook's Pest Control and was driving all the time, and I listened to so much preaching then. But it was all from my collection. And, I began to think, well, there's probably other people out there that would like to hear this collection that I have, these great men of God, that the messages I had from years and years ago. And I began to think, well, if I enjoy listening to it, surely others would. And another reason I began to think about is I just really feel like in our little northwest corner of Georgia that we are blessed with so many wonderful preachers, so many wonderful, knowledgeable men of God. And some of these preachers, and I don't say this to look down on anybody's congregation size, but some of these wonderful men of God are preaching to congregations of a handful of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate them doing that. But I feel like these men felt like and still feel like these men need to be heard by more than just their small congregation. And so that was part of my motivation. And another thing, too, maybe this wasn't my motivation to start with, but it's kind of become kind of a driving force or something I think is really neat, is that there are men on my website that have been dead for decades, and yet they're still preaching. Their word is still going out. And I think that's awesome. So that's part of the motivation, but ultimately to get the gospel out. And so that's kind of where my motivations were. So I started the website. And at first it was just mainly me posting preaching of other men. I did some writing, which I found I really enjoyed, and I found also that I don't have a lot of time for it. So I have a couple of writing series that are just frozen. I enjoy that, but time is just limited. I started posting music from different people, and my focus has always been and still is more preaching, because you can find the music out there. You can find the good music on the internet. It's the good preaching that I think there is a hunger for. And as much as I love music, it's preaching. It's this that's needed more than anything. So while I do have an area for music, and I do enjoy sharing singing, the emphasis has always been, and I hope always will be, on the preached word of God. Certainly not to throw shade on the singers, but that's just the way I feel about it. I began to ask people to share their testimonies through my website, because I feel like we all have a story to tell, and I feel like it should be told. And that's really this is one place where I feel like Handfuls of Purpose has kind of failed, because I've always wanted it to be not just Tyler. I've always wanted it to be a community effort, and I do feel like we're getting into that. And again, we're just a year in, but I really want it to be other people writing, other people doing teachings and posting videos if they want to do a podcast. I really want it to be a community effort of everybody joining in. I don't like it to just be Tyler. And I realize it's people don't have time, and I realize that it's very time consuming to do things. But that's going forward. That's really what I want to see. And again, guys, people have joined in and helped in so many ways, but I would like for it to be more of where other people can share testimonies, songs. If you want to record a song and you want me to post it, anything. I really want it to be a community. I want Handfuls of Purpose to be a community. I want us to be a group. Anyway, so I have shared several testimonies, some awesome testimonies over there. I've shared part of mine. I hope to one day be able to do more of mine testimony, but that's something I started to do. And then the first of the year, so August 21st is when I officially launched the website. The first of the year, I started what I'm doing now, the podcast. And I'm really passionate about the podcast. I really enjoy it. I fell in love with teaching when I was 16 years old. I was asked to teach an adult Vacation Bible School class at U Harley Baptist, scared to death. And I just fell in love with teaching the Word of God. And I can remember distinctly when I was out of God's will for several years, I remember thinking the joy that teaching brought me. And I literally remember thinking, I'll never get to do that again. I'll never get to, and this is way before I was called a preacher or anything. But I thought I'd never have that opportunity, or, nobody'd ever have confidence in me again. And what a blessing it is, and a serious responsibility to try to teach and carry God's word. And I'm so grateful for it. And I don't feel like I'm a good teacher. I don't claim that. But I love trying. I love trying to teach God's word. And I try to teach it. My method has always been, and I say it, and it's not just some kind of funny catchphrase or don't take my word for it. And that doesn't mean that don't take it serious and I don't study and I don't try to tell you the truth, but I always want people to have a desire to study for themselves. And so I never want to teach from a standpoint of, hey, just listen to me. You don't got to read your Bible. That's not my approach. And I like to even offer on my website people of different opinions, because, we're all adults and we all can read and study and decide what is true. And so I'm not even against a little bit of disagreement and doctrines and all even being represented on the website. I think that's a healthy thing, honestly. Anyway, let me move on for that. I could really go down a rabbit trail there. Just a few things that also, I'm just trying to give you, I guess, the history and the story of the website. But did the Preacher's Jubilee at the radio station, which also went out on Facebook Live, and a lot of my good brethren helped me out with that, the financially and all, that preached for us that day. So I appreciate them, and that was good. I started doing the Preaching with a Purpose, where I would get a couple of guys together on a Sunday afternoon, and we'd just do some preaching. And that was really when the COVID started, and I thought about all these, not pastors, but lay preachers who, the pastors were barely getting to preach, and the lay preachers weren't getting to preach any, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to preach them. And I did a few episodes of that, or whatever you want to call it, sessions. And honestly, I was trying to do it every 2 weeks, and it really just got to be a little too much on me. And I am kind of notorious for taking too much on, and and then recently, or within the last 3 months or so, I began to revive the YouTube channel, which is, again, what Handfuls of Purpose started as. And there's a lot of people I could thank, and I don't want to try to thank everybody because I would miss people, but I can't go through this podcast without thanking Brother Willie Young, whom I've never even met, but we've talked on the phone, and he, for years and years and years, has went around to services, mainly around the LJ area, but other areas as well, and just recorded services. And he has a treasure trove of video recordings and audio recordings that he has sent to me. And I just can't thank him enough, because I was getting to a point with my content where most of my collection was posted. And I was like, okay, I got to get, I want more content to post. And I got hooked up with Brother Willie, and it was a godsend. And so I still haven't got everything, nowhere near everything posted that he has sent me. I'm still working on that. Almost daily. So I have to thank Brother Willie. But let me just talk about, so when I started this, I didn't know, first off, I didn't know if any preachers were going to want me to post their content. I didn't know how they would feel about it. It's different. Again, for our community, it's a different kind of thing. And so, and these men are so humble, and they don't think much of themselves, and that's a good thing. And I didn't know how they would feel about their stuff just being out there on the internet like that. And they were all so receptive. And after this, we're 1 year in now. And
Happy birthday!
That's going to get old. But after all this time, I've only had one man to tell me no, that I couldn't use his content. And that's absolutely fine. I understand that. That's why I always go to them and ask for their permission first. But everybody's been so receptive, and not just in letting me post the content, but in, again, like you guys actually consuming the content and going to the website and visiting, and people that, the word of mouth that just spread, and people talking about it, people that I've never met, emailing me with things and how it's been a help to them. And it's so humbling, because, again, there's no way we would have made it to this point. And I don't want to brag, but it's time consuming, a lot of work. I spend hours at my computer, editing videos and editing audio and trimming stuff and doing things. And I don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I love it. But if you guys weren't there to help, I don't know that I would have the motivation to continue to do it. If you guys weren't there to enjoy, because if I'm going to do something, I want people to listen to it. Not because I'm doing it, but I do want it to be heard and enjoyed. And so, I want to talk about this. For a while, I don't know what I thought about it. It was just something I was doing that I enjoyed. And I got some business cards printed up just with the website information. It didn't have my name or anything, because it's not about me. But just the website information and things like that, and the email, just to try to spread the word. And I was kind of shy about handing the cards out, because I felt I really don't like self-promotion. And so I felt like, I don't know, it's just weird, and probably you may not understand where I'm coming from, but I just had a hard time doing that, handing them out. And I remember Jennifer was telling my pastor that I got some cards made up, and I was like, and I kind of told him, I was like, yeah, but I don't really like self-promotion, so I'm not really, I got them printed, but wasn't really handing them out much. And he said something that honestly, it sounds so simple, but I hadn't even thought of it to that day. He said, it's your ministry. And that sunk in with me, and really not at the time, but I thought about it later, and I was like, you know what, this is my ministry. This is what I'm doing. And it just so happened, I started this, and then like a week later is when I was led to leave the church I was pastoring. Those two events are not linked in as far as my decision. It was not at all why I left, but it was the Lord impressing me to do so. But this is my ministry, and since then I've really embraced it as, I don't have a clue what God's plan for my life is. I don't know if I'll ever pastor another church. I'm not against that. I just don't know. But I want to be busy, and I want to keep about the Lord's business. And you know what? If this is it, if this is my ministry, then this is what I want to do. And I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I do foresee, no matter what becomes of if I do pastor, or who knows what, I do always see Handfuls of Purpose, me being a part of that and continuing it. It may have to slow down or something like that if there's changes, but that's where my heart's at. This is my ministry, and I've already, and I know this sounds crazy, but I've already thought about, one day when something happens to me, I hope there's one, hopefully my son or somebody that's passionate about it that can carry it on and keep these men preaching. So anyway, let's move on, okay? But that's kind of my story. That's kind of my heart. So I want to throw a lot of information and numbers at you right now. So now that we're officially 1 year into this thing.
Happy birthday!
Now that we're a year in, let's take a look at some analytics, some numbers. And this is where I told you I was going to share some slides with you. So first I want to share with you about actual visits to the page. And again, this is not bragging on me, but I want to show you some of the successes and your help in sharing the news of the website and how it's really gotten out and reaching people. So I go through Squarespace to do my website, and the way they measure visits is the number of single browsing sessions by individual visitors to your site, or to my site. So if you come to my website and look around for a while, and you leave my website and come back, that would be 2 visits. So it's just how many visits we've had. So let me find the graphic here if I can. Okay, here we go. Visits. So as you can see here on this graphic, over the last year, the website has had 12.2 thousand visits. That's individual visits. Now, again, that can be from the same person, but people have come to the website for whatever reason 12.2 thousand times over the last year. I think that's pretty awesome. I really do. So I wanted to share that with you. Let's look now at the next one of the other metrics that Squarespace uses is page views, and it's just how many actual page requests the site receives. In other words, if you come to my page, if you go to the home page, that's a page view. Then you go to the preaching page, that's another page view. So you can have several page views within one visit. But here, 42,500 page views. So people have visited pages, the different pages on the website, 42,500 times in a year. That's incredible, guys. That's incredible. And then the other metric, the other main metric they measure that I'll mention is unique visitors. Now this one really excites me, not as much as the next one I'm going to mention, but unique visitors is, so let's see how they explain it exactly. An estimate of the total number of visitors that reached your site. So it's different people that have come to the site. Now that can be, so like, and I don't mean to get all technical, but say you visit my site and then you clean your cookies and you come back, that would count you twice. But so it's not a perfect number, but pretty much this is the number of different people that have come to the website. 11.2 thousand in a year. That's 11.2. Now, and that's with very little advertisement. I mean, that's mostly word of mouth and me posting things on Facebook and throwing out a few cards here and there when I finally embraced and started handing them out more. But 11.2 thousand different people. And again, that's not a perfect number, but that's incredible, guys. Let me show you the slide and the number that really excites me, and that is visits by geography, or the geography breakdown. And so when we talk about getting the gospel out, one thing we can do on the internet is get the gospel outside of Georgia, outside of the United States of America. And that's what excites me. So we have, of course, the bulk of our visits, almost 16,000, 98%, are in the United States. But look here, 200 visits from Ireland. Okay, that's a very long ways away. 40 from Canada, 9 from France, 5 from China, 5 from the UK, 2 from Germany, 2 from Russia. We got 1 from Australia. So we got here 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 9 countries there that the word has gone out to. I was looking. I don't look at the analytics much. I really don't. It's not like I harp on them. I'm just glad the word's getting out there. But I was looking one night at the analytics, and somebody at that moment was in Canada listening to Brother Earl Abernathy preach. And so I don't know if Brother Earl has ever been to Canada, but he has preached to Canadians in Canada. So that's awesome. Look here, we got, now I know these are just one visit to these countries, but this just shows you the potential the website has. I don't even know how to say that really. Denmark, Egypt, Finland, Japan, Mexico, Netherlands, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Vietnam. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 more. So we got like, I guess 20 countries, if I counted right, that we've been able to reach. 20 countries that we've been able to reach. So, let me show you a few more slides. And I know these are our traffic sources. This is how people get to the website. So when we go back to what I was talking about earlier, and I didn't finish my thought. Let me go back to that about the feeling that Facebook's evil, the internet's evil. Let me tell you the conclusion I came to on that subject is that Facebook can't be evil. My computer can't be evil. My phone can't be evil. Every time I'm recording on my laptop right now, every time that I've picked up my laptop, it's always been asleep. It's never been doing anything wrong. And the conclusion I've come to is we are evil. Inanimate objects don't have the ability to be good or evil. They just are. Can I use my computer for evil? Absolutely. Can I use Facebook for evil? Absolutely. I can use my cell phone for evil. I can use my car for evil. I can even use my air conditioner for evil if I sit at home under it all the time and don't go to work and support my family. And so making these blanket assumptions that these things are just completely evil, I don't think is accurate. Sure, things can be used for evil, but things can also be used for good. And I say if they're going to be used for evil, and they are, people are going to use their phones and their computer and Facebook for evil. They're going to. We might as well use it for good. And now I do absolutely believe there's some people that maybe don't need Facebook. They might have a certain temptation or a certain problem. I've talked to people that said, I just don't need it. And that's absolutely understandable, a personal conviction. But to demonize those that use it, I think is wrong. I don't think that's correct. Anyway, I wanted to finish that thought up. So here's the traffic sources. 8,000 visits have come from social, which is all Facebook. So, and that's again, while I think social media is a good thing, can be a good thing. The bulk of the 61% of visits to the website have come directly from Facebook. We got direct visits, which would be you going straight to www.handfulsofpurpose.me. 33% there. And then, we got these others from people searching, being referred, or email. And then let me give you the analytics on the YouTube side of things really quick. Again, it was just about 3 months ago when I started to work on the YouTube channel again. So we're up to 102 subscribers. I appreciate that. We got 6.8 thousand views just in this is just over the last 90 days now. 6,842 views in 90 days. That's incredible. And all I'm posting here is just teaching and people singing and people preaching. And it's not, I mean, it's just the preached word of God. So almost 7,000 views in 90 days. That's incredible. 529 hours watched on my channel. The Handfuls of Purpose channel. Nothing's mine. But that's 530 hours that people have watched this preaching and singing. And again, these are not from superstar preachers. This is not your Billy Graham and your Joel Osteen. These are just these old-fashioned men of God that we love so much. And 530 hours of time logged of people listening to them and watching them. That's incredible. And I wanted to share that with you again, not to brag on me, but it's because I don't watch all this. I mean, I don't sit and watch it all the time and run up the numbers. It's you guys, by you watching it, you listening to it, you sharing it with others, that have made all these this interaction possible. So thank you so much for everything you do. So let me just kind of continue to share. I did do some fundraisers and still am doing some, and that's something. And I communicated this through the Facebook, but I was struggled with so bad because you automatically open the door for the criticism of, well, it's just about money. Because a lot of people have used the guise and the cloak of Christianity and doing good as a way to make money. And so those criticisms have been earned, honestly. I can understand somebody thinking that because it just happens so often. But truly, I've never taken a dime from anything raised. And again, I enjoy doing this, but there is a financial burden. And so I did reach out and kind of ask for help. And also for some of the bigger ideas that I have, I needed help with. So just to kind of give you some numbers of how you guys did and support me, I've sold about, if I counted correctly, 117 shirts, which is incredible. My goal was to sell 25. I was like, well, if I can sell 25, because you had to sell 25 even to place an order. So I was like, well, if I can sell 25, I'll be doing pretty good. The first day, I think I put it on Facebook, I think I sold 16 and ended up selling 117. I'm up to have sold about 50 hats thus far and about 10 beanies. So it was something I've just started. And also, I've continued to order hats, not because I'm trying to get more money out of people, honestly, but people have missed out and said, hey, when are you going to get some more hats? So, if people want them, I'll try to get them, but this is going to be the last order of the year. I also received several just generous donations. So why raise money? Let me, again, I think I owe it to you to explain these things, because you've invested. First off, there is a monthly, in order to keep the website up and running, through Squarespace, I have a monthly fee or a yearly fee if I choose to pay that way, and as well as the podcast through Podbean, there's a bit of a fee. Although that's all been out of pocket. I haven't actually applied any of the money raised to those things. I've done all that myself, and all the equipment and stuff that I use has been out of my own pocket, and I've got some new equipment to make things a little better. That's all. That hasn't come from your money, but. So I had some big things in mind. One of them was the revival at the Vineyard, which is going to be an outdoor revival that has been canceled. I don't want to say canceled. It's been postponed to the spring, and hopefully it works out there. So that was one of the big projects that I had in mind, and it, a pretty good chunk there of money that it was going to take. And that was the main driving factor in doing. I had two main big things I wanted to do this year. One of them was a revival. And while we're not going to do the outdoor revival, I'm still working on something that I can't announce right now. I don't have any final word on it yet. Also, though, something I've done is a CD ministry. And I'll try to put the graphics up. I don't have them in yet. They've been ordered. They're being printed. So I'm having these professionally printed and done. And ordered 100 CDs. And what they're for is for elders and sick and shut-ins that are not able to get on the website, or that are not tech savvy, and or they don't care to get on the website for whatever reason. But the CD ministry is intended for those, for people who can't access the stuff on the website. So again, it'll be professionally printed in a case, a cardboard. They call it a wallet. It'll be shrink wrapped. I like to put out things that look well done. I believe in trying to do things good and right. But everything that's on it as far as the audio. There's going to be two songs, one song by the Moore family and one song by Sister Melanie. Let me back up because I forgot to mention one metric, and I'm so sorry. But there was one metric that I didn't mention and I didn't bring up. So let me go back and show you guys one more slide and tell you about the popular content of the website, because this is great, I think. So here we go. So you can see that the most popular page is the preaching page, which you would go to find the preacher you want to listen to. Well, that makes sense. It's actually more popular than the home page, so people are bypassing the actual home page to get to it. Check this out, though, and I know most of you will know that Sister Melanie Robinson passed away this past year, and it's so tragic and sad. But as far as a single page, she is the most popular page with 2,115 page views. Just to go to the page to hear her sing, and I just think that's incredible that she's still able to sing and people are still able to be blessed from what she left behind. And aren't you glad we're able to leave things behind for people? And we see that Jake Cash who has been dead for years, actually a member of my distant family, a distant kin. I never met him, but 780 page views. We got the Joyful Heirs who haven't sung together in I don't know how long. I'm not real familiar, but with 700, that's some of the most popular. And I'm not going to get into all the other who's the most popular and all like that. That's not what it's about. But isn't it amazing, these numbers and I don't know that, just that with Sister Melanie, I just think is really, really cool. So I wanted to share that. I'm sorry, I forgot. So let's get back now to the CD ministry. On the first CD, and I hope this is something I'm able to do every once in a while for those sick and shut in. And also, while it is for those, it could also be given to those, and they'll be completely free to everybody. No charge for this. This did come from some of the money raised from the T-shirt and hat sales. So I'm going to just give them to anybody who knows of anybody that might, that's not able to get out and go to church, things like that. But also as a witness tool to people that may not go to the website, even if they can, or may be lost, and you want to give them something to witness to them if you think they'll listen. So this CD has two songs on it, one by the Moore family and one by Sister Melanie Robinson. And then it has three preaching messages, one by Brother Jake Cash, one by Brother J.O. Jarrett, both of those who have passed on, and then one from Brother Earl Abernathy. And so these will be, again, 100 of them available to hand out to the sick and the shut-ins and those that can't get out and can't access the website. And I mentioned that there were two big things I wanted to do this year with the website, with the ministry. Two things I wanted to accomplish. One of those was the revival, and as we know, that had to be canceled. We're trying to work on something else to kind of replace that for this year, but no word yet. The other was I wanted to help at least one family during Christmas time, if I could, with some of the proceeds from the shirt sales. And so I have already, it seems super early to be thinking about Christmas, I know, but I have already got the ball rolling on that, trying to reach out and try to support one kid from around the Adairsville area, because a lot of my supporters are from that area. And also trying to get one from the Polk County area. That's where I live. And I want to try to be present in the communities, especially where I'm most supported. I'd love to be able to help everywhere. But of course those funds aren't there. But that maybe gives you an answer to kind of how your funds are being used, and all like that. And I hope that's acceptable to you. I love your ideas and all. And going forward, how can you help going forward? The main thing is pray, please. Pray for this ministry. But every time you like and share and subscribe, to the YouTube and things like that, and as well as commenting. If you could comment on those YouTube videos. Now, it won't show up immediately because I have to approve all the comments, because I don't want people on there being vulgar, because we know how the internet is. But anytime you interact with these videos and these different things, I don't want comments and likes and shares to puff my head up or to up my numbers. But what it does is, when there's a lot of interaction with videos and things like that, that it makes it more available and more visible to other people. And so we've heard of things going viral, right? When things catch on, when more people are commenting and things like that, then they're like moved up in I don't know how it really works, their algorithm, but it might pop up on other people's feed if they see a video becoming popular. So it gets things out there more. Again, it's not for me. But if you listen to one of these preachers' messages on YouTube or something like that, and you want to just, tell them, just, comment there and they'll see it, probably, or I can communicate it to them. But, it's a way to help. But that's the best way you can help, is just by sharing the telling people about it, get the word out. Because I want to continue to try to do good work, and I so appreciate your help. Again, as we said starting out, I know doing a video like this could be taken wrong, and I sincerely hope that you'll see my heart in this, that you'll see that I'm not trying to brag, I'm not trying to boast, but I just want to show you where we're at. But let me wrap this up, and I'm sorry again for all the edits. The dog's been crazy. We've got one more child than usual, and so here with us, and the dog has been on edge, so she's the protector. So thank you so much for joining me for the 1-year anniversary celebration. Maybe he's gone now. The next episode...
Happy birthday!
Anyway, the next episode, I have something very different in mind, something I've been trying to make happen for a long time. So be looking forward to that. And something I didn't mention earlier is I'm going to do podcasts through September, and then I'm going to take off October, November, December, just so I can do some more studying and have time to prepare some things and focus on other things. And I'll be back, Lord willing, in January with the podcast. I don't plan on stopping it at all because I love doing it. But I will be doing 3 more podcasts, hopefully, through September, and then taking 3 months off. So be looking forward to those. And until next time, don't take my word for it.
Happy birthday!